that pretty much sum up your thoughts tonight?
Yes.
uh, Welcome back to Starcastic Remarks, the only Stars fan-led podcast. This is Ryan. The moaning was done by Chris, and I think
Howdy.
that can sum up the game, right? We can stop at 31 seconds and just post the podcast.
Yeah, about. Too tired to
Stars.
think anyway.
Yeah, I know. Same here. Yeah, 2 nights in a row doing this is rough, but Stars lose tonight with the final score of 2-0. And this was not a usual shutout game like it was the previous week and a half. I know they got shut out today, but I think there were two keys to this game. Well, really, I'll say three because there was one I just thought of. The first one is Cam Talbot had an incredible game.
He was nuts. I don't. Especially towards the third period. The first two periods, Stars were definitely missing. But the third period, he stood on his head and he was a brick wall. It's just frustrating. The Stars couldn't grind their way to a goal like they have been able to. That's the only way it seemed like something was going to get past, and Stars just couldn't get the energy to do it.
I think the second thing for tonight, one of the keys, was just we just can't execute. We had all these scoring chances, and we just could not execute. I can't tell you how many times I yelled at the TV, "Oh my goodness, how did that not get in the back of the net?" And that had
That's especially with missed shots. You saw tons of missed shots this game, especially off one-timers. Sagan missed at least 3 times. Janmark missed at least 3 times. Hintz missed multiple times. It's just Sagan had 2 or 3 grade A scoring chances that he has to bury. He's paid to bury those pucks. There's no reason why he should be missing those. If we're gonna win a hockey game, Sagan's got to put those grade A chances in the back of the net. And that's what we've been talking about all season. So
yeah, it's either we score 5 goals or we score 0 goals. and and this just goes back to what I was arguing online, all over Facebook, on Twitter. Poor Hudobin just does not get any goal support. He let in 2 goals. When you let in 2 goals, you should expect to win.
yeah, speaking of, let's go on a little tangent on that one. So
Go for it.
I thought throughout this game the Stars were definitely the best team. Pretty much from whistle to whistle, Stars were overall much better than Calgary. The 2 goals Calgary scores are both insane flukes. Like the first one's not even a shot. The guy's trying to pull it around to his forehand, it's off, and it bounces off Hudobin's stick when he just decided to start going for a poke check, and it rolls off of his pad and into the net. That's I haven't seen a luckier goal since the Roussel goal that bounced over the net off of his skate in the playoffs in round 2 a few years ago. And then the next goal, we've got 5 people in the shot lane, and it just touches nobody? Like, what on earth? So I had my friend over tonight, and he was just he has the mindset that the Stars are the most unlucky team, and the stat he uses to back that up is the amount of post hits the Stars have had over the past 5 years, and it's way higher than the second most team. And it just seemed like the Stars had no puck luck tonight. Calgary had all of it, and then on top of that, Talbot stood on his head. Just a frustrating game.
Well, let's just talk about the different players that had chances today. The first person that jumps to mind is Sagan. Sagan had at least 3, like you mentioned, 3 grade A chances, and he's hit the post on 2 of them. So they didn't even count as shots on goal for those particular 2 chances. Janmark looked excellent tonight.
He played a great game, but as we've seen and as Facebook people have mentioned, he's got no finish.
Yeah, and I'll mention the Corey Perry group again. It's a running joke that Yamark just can't put a puck in the back of the net, and he hasn't been able to
The
do it for
best fourth
years.
liner in the NHL.
Yet he could easily, and I think he could easily have 20 goals. Well, maybe not quite 20, maybe 15 to 20. Maybe like a Jake Virtanen level of goal scoring, but it's just so frustrating. This game was just very frustrating. Just to watch all these players have chances. Oh, and let's not forget the Klingberg chance. Wide open net. I mean, there's no way that Talbot would have gotten over to make that stop, and Klingberg just shanked it.
Yeah,
So
that's just the story of the game. Stars are the better team. They miss their chances, and Talbot stops all the rest. And that's why it's so frustrating. It's because the Stars deserve to win this hockey game, right? They're the better team tonight. I bet even Flames players would admit that. And we can't put it together. We can't find a way to win. That that's the scary part about this hockey team to me is that it just feels like we're not a winning team, and that's the scariest part.
well, and I mean, and that's what I've been arguing. We cannot let the first goal in. We can't. With the style of game that we play, we cannot be chasing a majority of the time. Yesterday, or I guess technically 2 days ago, was a different game. That was a different game. The Stars were ticked off. They were PO'd. They finally came out and decided to play. But we can't let in the first goal. And I know that first goal was still a fluke, but it just felt after that. It just felt demoralizing after that, considering that all the grade A chances we had. At that point, we probably had about 5 or 6 different chances where we could have been up 2, 3, maybe 4-0 if every single one of those chances went in. But not a single one of them went in. So I'm not going to put this on the Stars tonight. That they just didn't have any puck luck tonight. The only thing I can say is they ran into a hot goaltender and they just didn't execute. Now that I can put on them, but I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know what else to
the,
say.
the main point of this game is Talbot steals the game, right? A goalie finally wins a game in this series, and I still think we have better goaltenders, and I'm just hoping I'm expecting Ben Bishop to be on a mission game 4 to steal one right back.
Well, and that's why I know a lot of people were saying, "Oh, well, it makes a lot of sense to see Hudobin in this game," but I was arguing, I'm like, we don't play as strong in front of Hudobin like we do Bishop, and we mentioned this a lot yesterday, uh, which was Bishop's puck moving skills, and maybe that's the X factor. I don't know, but the Stars just the edge just wasn't there as much tonight as it was yesterday. And again,
Well, there was obviously tired bodies, but it still
right,
looked like the
right.
Stars were a better team than they had been during the round robin play and game 1. So just I'm chalking this game up mostly to Talbot just stealing it.
Well, and the only other thing that I wanted to mention, this is the third thing that I wanted to mention, was our power plays. I think we had 4 tonight.
Over
4.
4.
Oh, we were 0 for 4 on the power play, and again we had opportunities and we just didn't convert on them. And maybe that's karma from the hockey gods allowing us to score 5 goals yesterday, and then they were like, "Huh, no more today." But other than that, uh, man,
Yeah, the power play's got to find some finish there. And we talked about this in our series previews. Zach did a lot that the special teams is going to be a big factor this game, and the Stars have definitely not played up to it. They like we've had equal amount of shorthanded goals for the Flames as we've had power play goals for the Stars. Sorry, I'm so tired, I can't talk right now. But
well,
that's got to change. We got to find people to bury the puck, and especially this game, we just needed someone to step up and like Razor said, he said feels like if one goes in, four are gonna go in, but we
Right.
just couldn't get the one. We couldn't get the one past Talbot, so just sucks that the goaltender steals the game, especially when we think that our goaltenders are better.
Well, when you look at the shots on goal per period, the Calgary Flames led in the first period 11-8, and then after that the Stars just dominated with shots. It was 16-4 in the second period, with the favor going to the
And
Stars.
that's the period that Calgary takes the lead.
And then
16-4 on shots, and we're down 1-0.
and then the third period, shots on goal were 11-8 in favor of the Stars, with a grand total in the Stars' favor, 35-23 in shots. And honestly, they were talking about it on the post game show that's actually still going on right now. Just the amount of shot attempts were like 2-1. And then when you look at the blocks, that was literally the only category that the Flames led in, other than like a percentage and a half on faceoff.
Yeah, and I wonder why they have more blocks.
Yeah,
I'll tell you why. They were in their defensive zone the whole game.
well, and it's now I will give them a little credit in the first period after about the 10-minute mark. They were running around a little bit. The Stars were in their own zone, and the Flames got a little bit of time. But other than that, you're right. That we were in their zone, it felt like the entire game, and we just could not get one past freaking Cam Talbot.
Yeah, I mean, this podcast is going to be shorter, but there's really not much else to say. Like,
Yeah,
Talbot steals a hockey game. It's going to happen in the playoffs, but we've just got to expect. We all still believe our goaltenders are better, both of them. I think both of them are better than Talbot, honestly. And I have full faith that Bishop comes out game 4 and he's going to shut that thing down and he's going to steal that game.
yeah. I mean, there's really nothing else for us to say here. I just wish that they had converted on a couple of chances. All we needed was 3. And it felt like we had like a dozen or maybe 24 chances. And
Yep.
just ridiculous.
A good goaltender performance takes a good goalie, and it takes a lot of luck. And Talbot had both of those on his side, and 35 saves. That's a great outing, and that's a stolen hockey game. Stars got to bounce back now. We'll have to see how they react.
Sometimes they should just instead of calling it hockey, they should just call it goalie. Honestly,
This game was goalie versus goalie.
This was a game of ice goalie, not ice hockey. All right, well, sorry guys, that's all we got for you tonight. There's really not much else to talk about. This has been another episode of Starcastic Remarks. We'll be back on Saturday when the Flames take on the Stars at 1 p.m. That's going to be an early game compared to what we've been used to the past 2 games. So, Stars lose tonight with the final score of 2-0. Follow Starcastic Remarks on Twitter at StarcasticR. You can also like our Facebook page, Starcastic Remarks. And you can also find us on YouTube at Starcastic Remarks as well. Thank you all for joining us. Chris, any final thoughts before we close out?
The Blues still suck.
Yeah, the Blues still suck. That makes today a little bit better.
A little better.
Well, and Vancouver's playing well too, so we'll save that for another day. Good night, everybody.